So good morning and welcome to this brand new edition of the newspaper show right here on ET Now. I'm Cheryl D'Souza and I will take you through all the top headlines that we have in the Economic Times as well as the Times of India for you. So let's get going with the top headlines that we have this morning on the Economic Times here for you. And first up, let us talk about what is happening around in the COVID world. Also, you know that the COVID cases in India has risen right up to 21 lakh mark. But let's talk about Defense Ministry. They've barred import of 101 items. Moving on, you have FDI powers to RBI may cut processing time. You have Blackstone set to buy prestige assets. Business in slow lane in key states, that's as per the July indicators. You have global companies eyeing SSangyong stake. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges farmers to cut down on use of urea. Telecom companies may add up to 30% more users in the September quarter. The IPL title rights, BCCI to invite bid today. Trump bypasses Congress with COVID relief order, and Twitter, TikTok in possible merger talks, that is as per reports. And those are the top 10 headlines for you from the Economic Times. Now let me move on to what are the top market headlines in the Economic Times. First up is Aramco CEO says still working on Reliance Industries deal. You have defense stocks may surge after the import ban. Buffett's favorite indicator hints at a sell-off. Many Nifty 50 companies beat Q1 estimates, and banks in a fix over current account curbs. From market on to corporate headlines then, Indian companies gear up to export COVID test kits. Hiring picks up in Motown as production restarts. Your Vodafone Idea rejects Ambani's call for 2G Mukt India. Clones in big demand on TikTok ban as well as COVID. And Daimler Trucks commits additional 2,277 crore rupees. All right, and those are the top headlines that's there in the Economic Times for you this morning. And let me get you up to the first story that we have. Now, foreign investors could experience an improved ease of doing business environment in the coming days after the government's rule change gave the RBI greater say in administrating all issues relating to FDI. So to talk more on this, I am joined by my colleague Poonam. Poonam, take us through this particular move that has come about in the FDI.
Well, good morning, Cheryl. Indeed, it is a welcome change there. In fact, in a notification dated July of 27, the government has given Reserve Bank of India the powers to administer the FDI regime, which will allow the central bank to interpret rules as well as grant exemptions pertaining to FDI. To know that this is related only to FDI and not to foreign portfolio investments. Indeed, what it will do is it will cut the processing time for the FDI applications to 5 to 6 weeks as compared to 3 to 4 months as of now. And market participants say that this would definitely lead to a good amount of ease of doing business. RBI used to be the sole regulator for FDI under FEMA. In October 2019, the government had scrapped FEMA and introduced a new law, which is NDI rules, non-debt instrument rules, which transferred all the powers of administering the FDI regime to the Finance Ministry. Now the government has separately given Reserve Bank of India the powers with respect to FDI. The ministry also had the powers to interpret the rules earlier, which is the Finance Ministry. Last month changes mean that RBI would be allowed to interpret as well as grant exemptions, and it would be certainly ease of doing business for FDI applications. And it is a welcome move, Cheryl, because yes, India does need FDI, and ease of doing business may lead to more amount of FDI as the economy, as India definitely has good amount of potential there.
All right, Poonam, thank you for taking us through that particular story, a new development coming on the FDI front. Let's shift focus now onto a story that's there on the page 1 of Economic Time, and this is the story that I'm going to talk about, and that is Business in slow lane in key states, that's as per the July economic indicators. States are opting for local lockdowns. That's what has hit the business. You are seeing Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu are the ones that are lagging. You have Rajasthan, MP, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand that's seeing a steady recovery. So state level economic indicators such as GST collections and electricity demand show key industrial states such as Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu have seen a slowing of business activity in the month of July. Only a few states as Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, like I mentioned, have shown steady recovery from April, with the nationwide lockdown had the biggest economic impact. So Google mobility indicators are however up for most of the states in the month of July. Over June, India imposed a lockdown across the states, across the country from March 25th. This was eased in stages in May, but July saw localized shutdowns due to the COVID-19 outbreak. So there you go. Because of these localized lockdowns, you're seeing July indicators for certain states showing a lag. Let's shift focus now onto another story that's there on the page 1 of Economic Times, and this is about the Blackstone that is looking to acquire some assets of prestige estates. So what is the amount and what are the assets they're looking for? I'm joined by my colleague Vivek to take us through that particular story. Vivek, good morning. Looks like this is going to be India's largest realty portfolio buyout. So take us through the details that's there in the Economic Times.
Good morning. So what the Economic Times is reporting today, and this is going to be a very significant and an important deal as far as the real estate space in India is concerned. So the company in focus is Prestige Estates. Now remember, Prestige Estates has presence across multiple verticals, key among them being the residential as well as the commercial portfolio. Now within the commercial portfolio, both they have rental assets as well as hospitality assets. And what the Economic Times is reporting is that Blackstone, one of the largest players as far as the real estate market worldwide is concerned, is all set to acquire 100% control of almost 20 million square feet of the commercial space. And according to ET, the valuation of these particular assets is close to 12,700 crore rupees. So now the acquisition, along with the commercial space and the rental income portfolio, will also include a portion of the group's hospitality assets. And this, in case it does materialize, would be the largest real estate portfolio buyout in India, like you mentioned. So the main reason why Prestige Estates is looking at such a deal is that the company will use the money to repay all of its debts. We also understand that post this particular debt repayment of close to 8,200 crore rupees, the company would be focusing on building further commercial portfolios across its key properties. We're also talking about, when you're talking about the portfolio itself, it includes ready, under construction as well as rental properties across Chennai, Bangalore and Mysore. And the ET is reporting that term sheets have been signed and the deal is likely to be concluded in the next few weeks. So it'll be a very interesting development, and in case it does materialize, would be a very important development to track as far as Prestige Estates is concerned.
All right, Vivek, thank you for that particular story on Prestige Estates. Definitely a buyout to watch out for if it actually fructifies. Let's shift focus now to a story that's there in the ET Markets page, and this is about Aramco. Aramco released their earnings yesterday. The profit saw a huge decline on a year-on-year basis, but there is one particular statement that Aramco CEO made, and that is he said that they're still working on Reliance Industries deal. To talk more on this, I'm joined by my colleague Ajay. Ajay, good morning. We remember last month in Reliance AGM, Mukesh Ambani mentioned that the deal has been delayed, but this is the first statement coming out from Aramco CEO stating that they're still working on Reliance Industries deal.
Well, that's correct. Good morning, Cheryl. The global oil giant Saudi Aramco, the CEO, Mr. Nasser, Nasser Amin, saying that they're still working on the deal with Reliance Industries is a very big positive, because even at the AGM Reliance results, management has actually been on record saying that there are some kind of very special situation delays happening, because of which global environment is also very shaken, and that's why the deal got delayed. But now Aramco, at the time of its results, coming out and saying that they are still on it, it is actually a very big positive, and the deal has may not have progressed as per the original timeline, but at least it is progressing and they are still working on it. So this is very interesting news coming in, and this has come in as quite a surprise because overall Aramco results were weak, and at the time of Q&A, at the time of the top management of Aramco has actually spoken about this deal, the $15 billion deal, valuing the O2C business of Reliance at $75 billion overall, clearly says that they are trying to iron out whatever last mile issues are there, and they are going ahead and wanting to do this deal. Otherwise, at the time of results, they could have skipped, talking about it as well. But very clearly, they have come out and spoken about it. It appears that clearly it's not off the table yet.
All right, Ajay, definitely a development to watch out for. Aramco CEO saying still working on a deal with Reliance Industries. Let's shift focus now onto a story that's there in page 3 of Economic Times, and this headline reads as that COVID is making it hard to breathe even for the drugs. My colleague Pankaj is here to take us through this particular story. Pankaj, an interesting headline that's there in the Economic Times, and this is pertaining to the drug sales for the pharma companies that are seeing a decline for the 4th straight month. So why is this happening, Pankaj?
So, when we just look at, COVID, the focus right now has been as far as what's happening with COVID. April and May, of course, were completely different than what we are seeing in the month of June and July. That is, there's no doubt about it. Then you keep getting this data as far as June monthly sales are concerned, April monthly sales are concerned. And within that, there are some therapies which are really not seeing any major revival or major growth. Why is that so? Probably because people are just delaying as much as they can. But at the same time, things like inhaler, things like some of the others are seeing some growth. So it's right now, a situation which can be said as a catch-22 situation. But overall, one has to wait and watch how things pan out, how things normalize. Yes, most of the hospitals, diagnostic companies that we have been talking to are pointing out that things are increasing. The normal business is coming back onto business, but there are certain therapies, which still are not seeing the growth or not coming back to the levels that they were in the month of Feb. So maybe that is a thing which is taking a toll on some of the pharma.
All right, Pankaj, thank you for taking us through that particular story that the drug sales have dropped for 4th straight month in the month of July as people with mild ailments are staying home. Let's shift focus now onto the top 5 headlines that's there in the Times of India. And first up is Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches 1 lakh crore rupees agri-infra fund for farmers. Moving on, you have 1,007 deaths on Sunday, 4 lakh new cases in a week. Moving on to United States, they've surpassed 5 million COVID-19 virus cases. Any type of visa good for air bubble nations. And pasta noodles demand jumps during lockdown. All right, and those are the top stories in the Times of India as well as the Economic Times. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the Newspaper Show. Thank you for watching.